Welcome to This Explainer. Imagine having the exact skills to build your own AI startup, or being able to walk into an interview for one of the highest-paying jobs in tech with total confidence. That is exactly what we're diving into today with the 2026 AI Engineer Blueprint. Think of this as your complete step-by-step bootcamp roadmap to take you from an absolute beginner to a true production-ready AI professional. Let's get into it.
Let's kick things off with a pretty mind-blowing number, 88%. That is the year-over-year hiring growth we're seeing for AI engineers right now. And the pay? Well, it absolutely reflects that crazy demand, with the average total compensation hovering around $206,000. Companies literally everywhere are desperately looking for people who don't just use AI, but actually know how to build it.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. There is a massive shift happening right now. You know those basic entry-level coding tasks? They're vanishing. Support tickets, basic boilerplate code, data summaries, they're all being handled by AI copilots and chatbots now. Because of this, the bar for us humans has been raised big time. Being able to architect and control these AI systems, it's basically becoming the ultimate tech survival skill. So how exactly do we jump over that new higher bar? Well, there's a golden rule you absolutely cannot ignore. Don't skip this. The best AI engineers are software engineers first. I know, it is super tempting to jump straight into the latest flashy AI models. But listen, hype fades. Rock-solid Python fundamentals, understanding how APIs work, object-oriented programming, these are the absolute non-negotiables if you want to build systems that actually work in the real world.
Okay, here is the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll look at the rise of AI engineering, mastering the foundations, the modern AI stack, production-ready AI projects, deployment, cost and safety, and finally, your 2026 career roadmap. Let's jump right into Part 1, Mastering the Foundations.
Think of this like building a house. You need a rock-solid foundation before you put the roof on. Step 1 is mastering Python and machine learning foundations, things like asynchronous coding and basic ML math. Once you've got that, Step 2 is getting hands-on with LLM APIs, like OpenAI or Claude, and really nailing advanced prompt engineering. Step 3? That's where you learn RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. And finally, Step 4, the really cool stuff, Agentic AI, where you build autonomous systems that can actually use tools to solve multi-step problems. You got to stack these skills in order.
All right, moving on to Part 2, the modern AI stack.
It is so incredibly easy to get completely overwhelmed by the sheer number of AI libraries dropping every single day. But let's simplify it into 3 clean layers. Down at the base, the data layer, you've got your heavy hitters like NumPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn. These handle the math and data wrangling. Above that is the Gen AI and orchestration layer. This is your LangChain, Llama Index, and DSP for building RAG and agents. And right at the top is the deep learning layer, where PyTorch and TensorFlow live for heavy model training. Here is a pro tip for you. Building deep expertise in this core stack will always beat trying to learn every random new tool you see on social media.
Which leads us nicely into Part 3, Production-Ready AI Projects.
Now, theory alone will not get you hired. Employers want to see real, functioning systems. And the backbone of literally about 80% of real-world AI applications is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Basically, it's a system that fetches private, relevant documents from a database to give your AI actual facts to base its answers on. It stops the AI from hallucinating and keeps company data perfectly secure. Mastering this is absolutely crucial.
To really stand out in this industry, you need a killer portfolio. Here are 5 projects that basically scream, hire me. First, a RAG system that actually uses role-based access control, proving you can keep sensitive data secure. Second, a real-time AI voice agent for customer support. Third, a multi-agent coding assistant where different AI agents plan, code, and test together. Fourth, a multimodal assistant that can process text, spreadsheets, and images all at once. And fifth, a hybrid AI system for classifying system logs. Building projects exactly like these is how you prove you are ready for the big leagues.
Okay, let's move to Part 4, Deployment, Cost, and Safety. There is a world of difference between a neat little toy tutorial and a true production system. Toy models, they completely ignore constraints, but production systems, they have to fiercely manage latency. They monitor every single token used, and they have strict guardrails to stop things like personal customer data from leaking. Because if we're being honest, an AI app that costs a fortune to run or leaks data is going to be shut down by the business on day 1. And that brings us to a massively underappreciated skill, cost-aware orchestration.
Look, if you just use a giant, expensive LLM to do every tiny subtask, your API bill is going to explode. The real pros factor in the actual compute cost and energy used. By optimizing which model to use when, you can drop response times from seconds down to milliseconds and easily cut costs in half. This kind of sustainable, smart orchestration is a total game changer for your career.
Finally, let's wrap it all up with Part 5, your 2026 Career Roadmap.
So, how do we tie all of this into a successful, high-paying career? You want to use the T-shaped learning method. First, you build a broad, solid foundation across everything we just talked about: Python, data analysis, and APIs. Then, you pick one high-value area to dive super deep into. Maybe you fall in love with NLP, or maybe computer vision is your jam, or perhaps you're into AI infrastructure and deployment. Start broad, build those portfolio projects, and you'll naturally figure out which specialization excites you the most. We've covered the foundations, the modern stack, the exact projects you need, and the realities of production. The demand for these skills is off the charts, and the roadmap is crystal clear. Now, you might be thinking, this level of training costs thousands of dollars. But the truth is, comprehensive bootcamps that cover this entire journey are becoming incredibly accessible. In fact, you can find complete, step-by-step AI engineering bootcamps right now that give you all of this: the roadmap, the projects, the lifetime access, for a one-time payment of just $149. So the only thing left is for you to take action. Which AI specialization will you build your career on? Pick your path, grab a course, jump into the code, and start building your future today. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.